Hello and welcome. Today, we're going to jump right into the world of fractions. Specifically, we're going to learn a really neat and simple way to find equivalent fractions using division. It's going to make things a whole lot easier. So, let's get started.
So let's start with the little story. Imagine Sarah has a piece of ribbon, and its length is 6/10 of a meter. But here's a question. Is there another way to write that? You know, a different fraction that means the exact same length? Well, the answer is a definite yes, and we're about to figure out exactly how to do it.
So, to help Sarah and to get really good at this ourselves, we first need to understand a kind of secret ingredient. It's the one key idea that makes this whole thing work, and we're going to take our time to make sure it's super clear.
So, what is this big secret? How can we take a fraction that looks maybe a little complicated and find a simpler, cleaner version that means the exact same thing? Well, this secret has a name.
And here it is, the common factor. It sounds technical, but it's really not. A common factor is just a number that two or more other numbers share. For a fraction, that just means it's a number that can divide evenly into both the top number, the numerator, and the bottom number, the denominator.
This chart gives us a really great way to see this. If you look at the numbers 18 and 24, you can see they share some factors. For example, you can divide both 18 and 24 by the number 2. And you can also divide them both by the number 3. So for 18 and 24, both 2 and 3 are common factors. Getting this part down is the key. Okay, so now that we have our secret tool, the common factor, we're ready to learn the actual steps. This is how you use division to find an equivalent fraction. It's a simple process you can use every single time.
There are really only 3 steps here. First, you find a common factor for the top and bottom numbers. Second, you divide the top number by that common factor. And third, you divide the bottom number by that same common factor. Now, the most important thing to remember is, whatever you do to the top, you absolutely must do the exact same thing to the bottom.
All right, let's put these 3 steps to work. We'll use the fraction from our example, 18/24. It might seem like a big fraction, but I promise, we can make it simpler. Let's go with step 1. Find a common factor for 18 and 24. Well, from that visual we looked at just a minute ago, we already know that 2 is a common factor. So let's go ahead and use 2.
Now for steps 2 and 3. First, we divide the top number. 18 divided by 2 gives us 9. Easy enough. Next, we divide the bottom number by that same factor. 24 divided by 2 equals 12. And there we go, we've done the math. And just like that, we've got our answer. The fraction 18/24 is equivalent to 9/12. They might look different, but they represent the exact same amount. We just found a simpler way to write it. This is a perfect illustration of the whole idea. See? 18/24, 9/12, and 6/8 are all equivalent fractions. They look different, but they're just different names for the exact same piece of the whole. I think we're really starting to get the hang of this. Now that we understand the steps, let's do a little practice with another problem. We'll walk through it together, nice and slow, step by step. Okay, here's our practice problem. The fraction is 6/10. Let's see if we can use our division method to find a simpler, equivalent fraction for it. All right, time for step 1. Let's think about it. What number can you divide evenly into both 6 times and 10? I'll give you a moment. Here's a little clue. They are both even numbers. You got it. The common factor is 2. 6 can be divided by 2, and 10 can also be divided by 2. Perfect. Now we are ready for the next 2 steps. Let's do the division. So we take the numerator, 6, and divide it by 2, which gives us 3. Then we take the denominator, 10, and divide it by 2, which gives us 5. So the equivalent fraction for 6/10 is 3/5. Excellent work.
Now let's see how this skill can be used for some more interesting things. Finding equivalent fractions isn't just for math problems. It actually helps us solve all kinds of little puzzles.
For example, take a look at this table. It shows how many hours different animals sleep in a day. We can write these as fractions. We know a day has 24 hours, so that's going to be our bottom number, our denominator.
Let's just focus on one of these animals. Let's look at the cat. The table says a cat sleeps for 12 hours. And since there are 24 hours in a day, the fraction of the day a cat spends sleeping is 12/24.
So here's a little challenge for you. You have all the tools you need. Can you apply our 3-step process to find a simpler fraction for 12/24? What's a more common way to say that a cat sleeps 12 out of 24 hours?
Well, let's think. What's a common factor for 12 and 24? We could use 2 or 3 or 4. But what about 12 itself? Let's try that. 12 divided by 12 is 1, and 24 divided by 12 is 2. That means 12/24 is equivalent to 1/2. A cat sleeps for half the day. See how simplifying makes the fractions so much easier to understand?
If you take away just one single thing today, let it be this. This is the golden rule. The key is to divide the numerator and the denominator by the exact same number. As long as you follow that simple rule, you will always find an equivalent fraction. So there you have it. You now have the key to simplifying fractions with division. Take a look at these problems. Which ones do you think are correct? The amazing thing is, you now have the skill to figure them all out. This isn't just about finding smaller numbers. It's about seeing the same value in a new, simpler way. It kind of makes you wonder, what other complicated things in the world are actually simple if you just find the right way to look at them? Keep practicing, and thanks for joining me.